Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Stirling Cooper. I haven't done a live stream like this in a while. And today's episode is kind of a spontaneous one, and but it is a very important one, I think. I need to give you guys a bit of context on what today's stream is going to be about. So I'm going to show you very briefly a little conversation I was having last night. Let's see if we'll zoom in on the comment sections here, if we can see it. Yeah, bang. So this is a little conversation I was having last night in the comment section on my YouTube videos with a guy by the name of Timothy, and it really caught my attention. And it was pretty obvious from Timothy's first message here that he's in a bit of a dark place. And I've actually invited Timothy on the show today, and we're going to talk this through. And I want everyone else, out there to listen into this conversation. Because I know there's a lot of young men who are in a very, very similar situation to Timothy here. And I think it's important for guys like you to see that there's other men like you, that you're not alone. The fact that it's not just you means you aren't alone. And more importantly, hopefully through the conversation we're going to have today with Tim, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that you can get out of the situation, that there is some hope. So Timothy said here, I'm a 34-year-old virgin. I try my best to make money and not be too fat, but it gets me nowhere. And I want to throw myself off a bridge almost every day. And I basically saw that, and I made sure that me and Timothy had a bit of a back and forth. And I basically invited him on the show today. So I think that like I said, was a bit spontaneous, a bit last minute of the show. I wanted to dive into it straight away, but I'm gonna bring Timothy on screen with us right now. If you're ready to go, Timothy, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. So I know yep. Okay, cool. He's good to go. Thank you once again for joining me, mate. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it as well.
No, it's and look, so what this brief conversation we had last night, you were saying, you're a 34-year-old guy. You work out. You try to make money. You try to what's the old adage? You try to make money. You're trying to make muscles, but obviously, where the ladies are concerned, it's still still a bit fruitless. And you'd mentioned that is getting you to the point where every day you're having these kind of darker thoughts. Would that be accurate?
Yes, I've been having a lot of health problems, a lot of things I have to work on, a lot of mental issues, these sort of things. Making money, being out in public, it's very frustrating.
And here's the thing, so I'm not going to lie when I tell people that I used to be in that situation. Like, obviously, I wasn't. I'm not going to. I lost my V card earlier on in life. Okay, what to do? But I don't really know many men who haven't gone through at least a dark point in their life. Now, sometimes they might be longer than others, but every man who I know who's achieved any degree of success and greatness has had these very, very dark kind of moments. They've had moments where they're struggling, and it's important for you to realize that there's, like, I don't know, there's this image I get reminded of sometimes if I think like that, and it's a picture of two people underground, like digging a tunnel they're both trying to mine for gold. And one person, you can sort of see it's like a cross-sectional image under the ground, and one person stops just before they strike this giant pot of gold, and another person keeps going and finds it.
I've seen that,
and I know that sounds it sounds like the answer to it is just try harder, just push more. That's obviously not the whole truth. That's obviously not the answer. The answer is, well, well, that's part of it. Part of it is you don't fucking give up. And I said that to you last night. I said, don't you fucking dare. But the other part of it is what you're doing right now obviously ain't working. So something needs to change, right? If you're in a situation where like every day you're waking up, you know, frustrated or waking up sad or depressed or unhappy with the situation, you already kind of know in here, you've got some compass of like what's going wrong and what needs to change. So maybe for a second, Timothy, do you have any kind of inclination of where you think you're kind of struggling in life, where you might be able to improve better, where your frustrations might be coming from, or what the sources, like try to get specific if you can, like the sources of a lot of your frustration and a lot of your angst?
Well, it's always been very difficult to communicate with people, to tell people what I think without going overboard. It's either I bottle everything in or I just explode, and um, it gets really frustrating. Um, I try to make money, I try to do the things I need to do, but frankly, I just don't feel good anymore. Have a lot of health problems. Uh, Whenever I'm out in public, I get stressed very easily, and it's these sort of things.
So you get like you get stressed out by like being around other people. Is that the idea?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
So it's like is that it's not agoraphobia? Is it? It's something like it's something similar to that. Is that the
It's not that. I mean, I'm not afraid of people. I just don't like them very much.
Yeah, I mean, look, people are annoying. I get it. I can kind of understand that to a degree. But okay, let me ask you then, has there ever been people that you do enjoy hanging around?
Locals, no. The people that I do appreciate are men that are better than me, or farther along the path.
Okay. Do you have many like close guy friends?
I have some friends, but nobody that I appreciate that much. No.
Yeah. This is that I could have basically predicted that. It's the biggest problem in the modern world is the modern world has tried to convince men to be like isolated and alone, and this idea of like the sovereign individual, the guy who's like, and this is kind of an American idea too. This idea of like the lone individual, the lone wolf, who's
A wolf stoic.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That is a lie, my friend. That is a complete load of shit. There is nothing. There's nothing noble about going through life on your own. Like the first step towards you significantly improving your life is going to be finding a band of brothers that you can depend upon. This should be like, this needs to be really kind of priority number one for you, is trying to find other men who are finding men who are on a similar path to you. That is very, very important. Whatever, and we'll get into the second half of this in a minute. We need to figure out what that path is. What kind of goals and aspirations do you have for your life right now?
Well, I guess the biggest goal right now would just to be a little bit happier, to reduce my stress, to believe that things are going well, and that my path forward is like that things are going well, basically. That I'm making the correct decisions.
Yeah, you want some inkling of, you want some evidence that you're actually making progress towards something. Well, we need to start getting specific. You know, for me at least, I always kind of break my year into like 3-month chunks, and I set some very, very specific goals for myself within those 3-month period. So I literally, I could look at the piece of paper idea. I have a piece of paper, and it's like, I want to do this, create this product, do this many interviews, do this many videos for YouTube, write out this many tweets for my Twitter, blah blah blah. See, there's all these like work goals or whatever, and then I might have some goals for like my relationships. I want to add 3 girls to my rotation in the next 3 months, or whatever it might be. Like I've got goals for these different things, right? But the important thing to note is that, say a goal, like just saying something like I want to be making progress or I want to be happier, it's too vague.
It's non-specific.
It's not specific. So it has to be, if you're going to make a goal, and goals are really, really important for men. Just as much as that first half, just as much as being surrounded by having a band of brothers you can depend upon who are on the same path as you. The second half of that is you need the path. You actually need some path. Because right now it doesn't sound like you actually have a path. You don't really have a specific thing you're working towards. Because that, my friend, is what's actually gonna actually get you out of bed in the morning. It's my old mentor, Craig Ballantyne, he used to say, like he used to break it down into an acronym, like SMART goals. Like it needs to be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timed. So, okay, what's a specific goal might be? Okay, I'm going to lose 5 pounds of I'm going to lose 5 pounds of body fat, whatever it is. That might be it's just an example. That might be, it's a specific thing, and you're giving it's specific. We can measure it. We can obviously do like a body scan or whatever. We can do, or we can get on the scales, and then we can get on the scales in 3 months' time. So it's specific. We can measure it, and then it's timed. Is the really important ones. Like I've set myself a deadline and a goal. And what's more important for me, at least in that acronym, he always said specific, measurable, actionable, realistic was the R in SMART. I don't like realistic goals, because realistic goals are boring. Realistic goals don't make you want to get out of bed in the morning. So you need to get creative, Timothy. You need to actually sit down for a minute and think about, like, what kinds of things got you excited as a young man. You know, I'm not joking. Like, what kinds of shit what would actually make you like really fucking excited to leap out of bed in the morning to work towards? So that's when I jump on this stream, and I've said this on my YouTube channel a while for the last like 12 months. I've said I want a fucking I'm not joking when I say I want a castle with a pack of well-trained attack dogs and 5-6 wives and like 20 sons. I'm not joking when I say it, because it's very specific, but it's so ludicrous enough, because I've done a lot of things in my life at this stage, right? So as you accumulate experiences, it becomes a little bit like everything becomes a little bit more boring, shall we say? Like
right.
Average life becomes boring. So you have to find a way to excite yourself. You have to find, and if that's just setting more ludicrous, stupid goals, then do that. Okay. So for the first thing we're going to say is, for you, we really need to try and find a band of brothers. And look, maybe that means, I don't know if you're doing martial arts. I don't know what kind of hobbies you have, but trying and getting involved in as many things as you can, just to find a space, because you need a space of men. That it's without a doubt, Timothy. I'm telling you this right now. You need to be around. You don't need to be isolating yourself. And being in the chat room and being online in these communities is good and all, but there's no substitute. It's better than nothing, but it's no substitute for really being around other dudes and connecting and sharing your thoughts and sharing your ideas. Because here's the thing, like, men will understand. Men who are on the same path will kind of understand. You don't want to be around women when you're talking about this kind of stuff. And because if a guy is really your friend, if a guy really has your back and has your best interest at heart, he's going to do two things. He's going to listen to what you've just said. He's going to listen to your concerns. And two, he's going to call you a pussy and tell you to fucking get on with it. because he means the best for you. Okay, so that's the kind of guys you need to start looking for and need to start surrounding yourself. And how do you meet these guys? Well, you got to add some kind of value yourself. So you need to be that for them. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find other guys who are like that, they don't have to be exactly your fucking age or exactly like identical, whatever the fuck it is. But finding some dudes that you can like resonate with, who are maybe a little bit red pilled, whatever it might be, who want to improve themselves, who might be a little bit older. Cool. These are your guys you're going to try and find. Whereabouts do you live? If you don't get too specific if you don't want to, but just generally, you're American.
I live in the United States.
Yeah. Okay. So you're actually fortunate. America isn't super locked down. If you were in Australia, I'd say you'd be fucked.
Fortunate in some ways, yes.
You couldn't go 5 kilometers outside your house if you're back where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
So you have.
It would be a blessing for me. I mean,
yeah,
how I've been at least, in that sort of mindset. Yeah. I know it's not a good thing, but yeah.
Okay, so first thing, I want you to try and find places where you can start to socialize with other dudes, and maybe you just need to go onto some forums. Maybe there's some online forums we can go on, and there's some
forums haven't been the best for me.
Oh,
not in my experience.
Well, then don't go on forums. I'm just spitballing.
Right. I tend to get a little bit angry and speak my mind, and a lot of people don't like it.
Huh. Well, the kind of people who do like that is debaters. People who like to debate tend to
There's
like
a lot of them.
Okay. And then the second thing we talked about is you need to set some really specific goals with your life that are going to actually get you excited. And the reason I personally do them for 3-month goals, right, is because it's not so far out that you lose track of it. When you have like a 5-10 year goal, it's very, very easy to lose track of it, and it sort of fizzles out, and it doesn't have as much of an impact. 12-month goals are good, but take that 12-month goal and break it down into 4 3-month chunks. Then it becomes sort of more tangible and more realistic. So for you, it might be maybe your goal is like, okay, I want to add 10% to my 3 power lifts, like my bench, my squat, my deadlift, whatever. I'm just, again, spitballing ideas here. Or maybe it's in 12. Maybe you might decide to get into I don't know. Do you do any martial arts at all, Timothy?
Not currently. Back when I was a kid, I used to do like karate and stuff, but nothing real. Yeah, substantial. Nothing. No. I'd like to get into it.
I think honestly, God, I think you might benefit really, really well from going to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. I think you might. And then you might all of a sudden start having goals like, okay, with it, I want to upgrade my belt within 12 months, right? Or I want to have my first tournament in 12 months' time. And you set yourself that goal, and you hold yourself accountable to it by you sign up for it in advance, and now you're like, oh fuck, well, I just signed up for a tournament in 12 months' time. I better not get my ass kicked. Now I have to do the work, right? It's kind of like the concept of burning the bridges. That the story about Troy with the Trojans, Trojan horse, yeah. Trojans sailed into Troy, and they landed on the beach, and they burned their bridges. Sorry, they burned their boats. They burned their boats behind them, so they couldn't run away. They couldn't flee. They couldn't return home. They had to fight and win, or they're dead. They gave themselves no choice. So that's an example of that. Would be like, okay, sign myself up for a jiu-jitsu tournament in 12 months' time. So I have to fucking do the work now, because otherwise I'm getting my ass kicked, and it's going to be an embarrassment, right? So finding some way to quote unquote burn your boats with a goal which holds you accountable to it is a good idea as well. I'm just going to have a quick look through the chat here, see if there's any more really good insights we've got from people here. There you go. Someone said, have your first tournament in the first 6 months. There you go. Totally something. Oh, Cortez was the one who burned the boat. Sorry, my bad. Wasn't the... Yeah, that was it. They had to take them. Yeah, they had Cortez burn the boats when he landed in South America. So they had to take South America or they died. Them Spanish were not fucking around, basically. Where we get Stirling for POTUS. Thank you, Brandon. Sorry about ignoring the chat a little bit here, guys. I just wanted to make sure gave Timothy the attention he needed right here for today. Anything else? Yeah, John's got a point. Men need men as iron needs iron, because iron sharpens iron. Don't go it alone and never abandon your hope. He's absolutely like, this is the point I'm trying to get at about surrounding yourself with other guys. And this is why I think for you particularly, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym would actually be very, very powerful thing. You might like push through it a little bit, because you might, like, it sounds like you got frustration and anger. You know what I mean? I can see it in you. You need an outlet for it. And I'm not saying, go and beat dudes up. But jiu-jitsu is kind of a way in which you can without actually hurting people. So it's physical outlets, man. Guys need physical outlets. So yeah, get yourself into that gym quickly.
Seems like I'm searching for an enemy. Kind of.
Yeah. That ain't bad, by the way, because you can use that as fuel. Mm-hmm. I do that all the fucking time. The single biggest motivator in my life has always been like telling someone else "fuck you." That is it. Like, the "fuck you" button is like, mm-hmm. I'm always looking for it. If I find myself going into a lull, if I find myself kind of slowing down or getting bored or getting a bit depressed or whatever, I'm like, who's pissed me off lately? I want to remind myself who I hate. So I'm like, oh, that motherfucker. Cool. Now it's time to work. Right? So get yourself surrounded by guys. And again, I think, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I think getting into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym is going to be a good start for you. It's going to get you around male energy. Try and find one that's actually just for the dudes as well. Try to, because it'll have a certain culture, which will be
toughness,
good. Toughness, a male environment. Dominance. They won't be afraid of hurting your feelings, which is important for you right now. You need to be told, like, all right, get on the fucking mat. Let's go. Like, you need that. You need guys pushing you like that. Okay. And then the second thing is, let's work on some more like specific, exciting goals for you, man. Because, I mean, maybe that might be one, like getting into a tournament. But in terms of like money, in terms of travel, in terms of like expensive toys you want to buy, in terms of business ideas, like, and obviously, women, like, what are some things? You don't have to say them right now if you don't want to, but I'm just think about it. Like, what are some things that really excite you, that are gonna, like, what's something you've always wanted to own? Like, what's a dream car or something you've always wanted to own? What's your ideal type of woman that you would like want to be with? And you start with that goal, and then we just reverse engineer our way back to a solution. It's like, okay, I want to buy, like, for me, it's like a Porsche 911 Carrera. I want to buy a Porsche. It's like, all right, well, how much money do I have to fucking make so I can afford a Porsche? All right, let's break it down. Okay, well, then that means I have to make X number of dollars per day for the next 6 months if I'm going to be able to afford my Porsche. Same with the chick. It's like, for me, it's like, I like South American women. I like Colombian women. Okay, well, here in Miami, which neighborhoods tend to have the most Colombian women in them? Oh, so this is where I'm going to drop my pin on Tinder. I'm going to drop my pin into this neighborhood to increase my chances of meeting the kind of girl I want to meet. Do you see how it's like we're reverse engineering our way back to a solution?
How do you feel about American women?
Fuck them. Look, I've been spoiled because I've been in Eastern Europe for a little bit this year, so American women are not the best. But you can find, like, they're not a complete loss. But American women just don't know how to please men. They've been proactively taught how to not please men, which is okay. What do you do? You just have to tell them. You have to be a bit more
dominant.
Not even just dominant, but like, you have to spell it out for them. Like a South American woman will, like, immediately start, like, folding my clothes and shit. If she's around the house, or she'll offer to cook me something. An
American girl, she knows how to be useful.
She knows how to be useful, which is fine, because her mother taught
for
her
herself and others.
Yeah, her mother taught her that. But okay, an American girl, I have to tell her that. I'm like, hey, baby, could you? I'm busy working. Can you fold my laundry? Oh, okay. And then she does it. And then the next time she comes around, she already knows what to do. So it's just a case of like, it's not necessarily that much different. You just got an American girl. You just have to tell her what to do because she doesn't know what to do. So it's really that's the key difference there. Is that it's just a little bit more of like a little bit more direction from you is required. That's what I'll say. But you don't need to. Here's the thing, Timothy. You don't need to worry about that because, like we said before, we already know you haven't lost your V card yet. So there's no point in, and I want other people listening to understand this. There's a lot of guys on the internet who talk about, how bad American women are and how bad Western women are, and it's not, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, and these kinds of phrases. And it's like, man, like, it doesn't help you to think from that perspective. There is no like, even if it is true, even if it was true, it doesn't help you in any way to run around thinking like that and talking.
Self-sabotage.
It's self-sabotage. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, is what it is. Because if all you think about all day is, oh man, American women are so bad and they're so terrible and they're so useless, or they're so such a waste of time, guess what kind of women you're going to attract in your life? The same kind, the ones that are useless and annoying, and
the kind of women that my friends get with.
Yeah, so you're going to attract. It's going to attract that. It's just, I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but like, you attract what you focus on. It's like I don't want to call it manifestation. I don't like that word. It makes it sound too hippie. But the idea of like you want to, your brain can only take in so much information every like second, because it's actually being bombarded with all these different wavelengths of light, all these sounds, all these sensations, and so it doesn't actually give you 100% of what it receives. So you have to tell your brain like what to look for. And this sounds a little bit woo-woo, but what you actively focus on is what it will give you more of. So it's kind of like when people say like, oh, like think positive. I mean, yeah, think positive, but it's not necessarily the thinking positive that gets you results. It's the dialing your brain in to see opportunities rather than like disasters. If you're focusing on like, let's use that as an example, that the women one as an example. If I run around walk through the world focusing on like, women are ruined, women are all sluts, women are not faithful, women will cheat on me, women will take me to.
You'll notice it more than any sort of positivity, any sort of good things to happen to you.
Yeah, and you'll never see. More importantly, you might have a really good woman come across you into your life, and you won't even fucking see it.
And more so than that, I choose to ignore her because I don't ever think that anything can happen. Yeah. Any positivity can happen.
Exactly. So you need to switch the thinking up. You need to switch thinking up to like focusing on, and this is part of that idea of having exciting goals in your life. And I want you to sit down after when we're done, Timothy. I would like you to sit down and actually, please, I want you to email them to me because I've got your email now, so I know you've got my email. So what I want you to do today is I want you to go home and write down give me at least 2 goals to do with your finances, 2 goals to do with your health or fitness, okay, and 2 goals to do with relationships, be they male female relationships or like friend relationships. I don't care, but give me 2 goals under each of these 3 kind of areas: health, wealth, relationships. Okay, and I want them to be specific. Okay, and I want them to have like a deadline, and I want them to be. I want you to get excited about them. Okay, they should be something that gets you excited.
Might be a little bit difficult.
That's the thing. Tap into that. You got to tap into that young boy that's still inside of you somewhere. Everybody has that. Every man has that young boy in them somewhere. You've just beaten him up, Timothy. You've just beaten the hope out of that kid. We need to resuscitate him, because that kid is what's going to make you happy. That kid inside you is going to be the one who's like, we should fucking like rent a sports car and drive through the mountains this weekend, because that would be a fucking fun thing to do. And that's not even that might be an example of something you want to do. Like, all these experiences that people think they have to have like tons and tons of money for, like, you can rent shit, right? You can, if you want to reward yourself by giving yourself a new cool experience. I don't know if you're into fast cars or anything, Timothy, but I'm just using it as an example. Like,
I appreciate them.
You can do those things.
I appreciate most of the things that I appreciate the things that most men do, but at the same time, it doesn't excite me too much. I've been a gamer all my life.
Yep.
I think that really messed up my reward center in my brain, so that whenever I do something and I accomplish something and should be rewarding, it's very often not, because I always expected to win. So when I lost, it was like very damning. But when I won, it was nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's stuffed it around a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you might need to start. That might be one of your goals in regards to your health. It might be something like, I don't know if you do much in the way of like meditation, or much in the way of things that are anything that's deliberately designed to delay gratification. It sounds like you might need to start actively focusing on certain either exercise regimes or certain brain training to help you recalibrate that reward center, because you need to delayed gratification is the superpower of the world. Like, if you can learn to work towards delayed gratification, you're going to achieve fucking everything you want in life. But
so I deliver food, Uber Eats, DoorDash, that kind of thing, and the faster I go, the more money I make. So that's a huge problem. Like, a lot of people, they find it very relaxing. They don't have to deal with a lot of people. They just go at their own pace. Me, I'm just like, go, go, go. Got to go fast. Faster, the better.
Yeah.
And that's been really messed up.
Well, I mean, at least it means you're making money, man. It's not necessarily it's not always necessarily a bad thing. Like, you've got certain proclivities. Everyone has, like, no one is exactly the same. Everyone has like strengths and weaknesses, Right. And you sound self-aware enough to know what those are.
I'm very self-aware.
So
to a fault.
Well, okay. Well, then take advantage of them. Like, utilize your strengths where they actually count. Don't try and fit a square peg into a round hole. If you're a guy who likes to get shit done quickly, who likes to be efficient, it sounds like you're probably undervaluing yourself. It sounds like you actually could probably do something higher earning and beat everyone else's ass at it, because you sound like the kind of guy who wants to be really efficient and quick about things. But again, I don't know what your skill sets are, but you could be selling yourself short, my friend.
Everybody's always said I had potential, but what that potential is, I don't know.
Well, look, I think who just said it? Yeah, Davina's just said it in the chat here. She said, sounds like Timothy has intelligence and energy, but that just needs to be directed to the right place. I would agree, my friend. I would agree there. I would agree. But okay, so what you're gonna. I want you to repeat back to what the assignment I just gave you, because I want to make sure you do it, Timothy.
You want me to send you some goals that are specific, that are attainable, and that aren't in a long time span?
Yep.
What did I miss?
Under which I want 6. I want 2 relating to your health. I want 2 relating to your financial situation. And I want 2 relating to relationships. That's 6. I want you to write down 6 goals. 6 goals. They need to be specific, measurable, with a deadline on them.
Here's a goal. I need to take more notes so
There you
that,
go.
so that I can recall. So that
Well,
my
luckily
brain doesn't work very well.
Luckily, this is on my YouTube channel, so you can come back and look at it. All right, and then the other thing I want you to do is I want you to seriously find a local Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and this doesn't count in those 6 goals. I'm giving you one. Go to find your local Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and just go sign up for a week, and go to it for a week. Don't do it. Don't go once and be like, oh, I don't like this. Force yourself to go to it for a week, and stick that out, and then see how you feel afterwards. Then see if maybe you've found a place to channel some of this energy you've got. You need an outlet.
All right, I will.
Yeah. All right, my man. And that's the thing, because it's once you found, I don't like this word, but purpose in life. You set your own fucking purpose, by the way. But once you've found a degree of purpose in life, it's that thing that makes you want to get out of bed every morning and fucking chase it. You need these big, hairy, audacious goals that, like I said, that get you kind of excited because you want to chase it down. That's part of what it is to be a man. Is you want to fucking chase down the gazelle and that you're hunting and then kill it and bring it home for the family. That's part of our drive. And if you don't have something to keep, my buddy Justin has this really good saying. He's like, part of being a man is like learning to climb the mountain. And the other part of being a man is on the way up, looking for the next highest mountain. Because the worst thing
getting back down.
Well, yeah, the worst thing that can happen to you is you can achieve everything you want, and then you stay there, and that's when you start to die inside. Is when you just stay stagnant. You've got to find something more. You've got to find more things to strive to, more areas of your life to improve, more things to get you excited. And I think what you'll find, my friend, is if you start going to the gym, going to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym and start fucking rolling, getting around this like masculine like energy, engaging in combat sports like that, your confidence will go up, and you're probably going to start attracting more women into your life. And we'll sort that. We can get that V card issue sorted out as well. So, but it comes back. A lot of that comes back to this mental approach of like proactively looking for the best things, proactively looking for the things you want in your life, proactively looking for the kind of women you want in your life. Don't think about the kind of women you don't want in your life, aka I don't know, American women, whatever it is. But putting your attention and focusing on, you know what, I would really like a nice, cute Latin girlfriend. Okay, whatever it is. I'm just throwing out examples again. But if that is the focus, then that's what your brain is gonna start like noticing and looking for this sort of shit. And then if you're fucking rolling around the ground with big sweaty men and your testosterone's through the roof, when that cute girl does eventually come along, you might actually do something about it.
Athletic girl who doesn't nag too much, knows that like I'm imperfect and like I can be better. I'm working on it. Just some woman who doesn't want everything and things that I can't offer. Things like that, I suppose.
You know what's funny with all of those things you just mentioned? They're all just. Those aren't like inherent traits to a woman. Those are, like nagging, and the other one you said was knowing that I'm imperfect. Mm-hmm. The funny thing about those, I think the other one you mentioned as well, they're not inherent traits to a woman. They're like consequences. They're her reactions to you. So if for example, like I always tell guys this, like a girl ain't gonna nag if you're dicking her down properly. Like if she's getting fucked and she's having a good time, she doesn't. Do you think my girls nag me? They don't, because they're having a good time. Like the kind of girls who nag their husbands, the Karens that run around nagging their husbands don't want to fuck them because they're sick of these bitches. So it's not like she's inherently a nagging person. It's like the nagging is like it's like a cause and effect thing. The nagging is the effect of something else. Same with like, okay, she like her you want a girl who understands that you're not a perfect person. Well, that's obviously you're not a perfect person. No one is, but you don't need to. Like, that doesn't even need to be a conversation you have with your woman. Because you don't. The mistake that a lot of guys make, I think, and that's why, again, if I tie this back into the idea of you need to have male friends around you, is that they try to make their woman a therapist. They try to like unload all their burdens in their life onto their woman. And this is not. We've been told this by Disney and fucking Hallmark movies that that's what we should do. That is actually not what we should do. Absolutely not. Your bros. This is why it's important to have male friends. Because those are the guys you can actually sit down and be like, man, this fucking thing and that fucking thing, it's pissing me off, like this stuff. And he's going to be like, yeah, man, that sucks. You're a fucking pussy. Let's go. That's what you need. That's what you need. A woman ain't going to do shit. If like, like I'm financially struggling this week, blah blah blah. Your bro might actually be able to fucking help you.
You know, like doesn't
a girl,
do anything.
A woman ain't gonna be able to do much. And more importantly, and this sounds bad, but more importantly, if every time you demonstrate weakness to your woman, every time you show her a chink in your armor, she's not even consciously aware of this, but she's gonna store that in the back of her mind somewhere. And then if she wants to if she ever wants to rile you up, she's gonna bring that out and remind you of it. So this is what you don't actively show. I mean, yeah, you are imperfect because everyone is imperfect, but you don't give her a reason to think that you are. You don't proactively give her, hey, baby, these are all my insecurities. These are all my weaknesses. These are all like. She doesn't need to know that. She doesn't need to know that. Like, it doesn't help. It doesn't help you to tell her that. You might, because I don't know. I understand where you're coming from. If you're like when guys do this with women, because I've been there, I've done that, and I know that. That's why I know it's a mistake.
It's kind of like me being honest or something. It's like, hey, here's my problems. It's like, you either deal with it or you don't.
I get it. You just want someone to fucking listen. Mm-hmm. That's all we want as dudes. We just want someone to fucking listen for a second, and as we complain.
I try not to bitch. I try to keep everything inside.
Well, that's why it's good. You need to have your bros. Because it is perfectly okay to bitch.
So I like to strategize. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? What can I be doing better?
That's good. That is good. That's the correct approach. Is like that, and that's how men want to work. It's like, I have problem, I want solution. Good. You know, and like I said, he's gonna be like, all right, let's go fucking get it. Stop being a bitch. Let's go. Which is what you want. But it's not going to help you talking that way around women. So it's funny that you mentioned, like, okay, I want a girl who's like, I mean, the one specific thing you said, you want an athletic girl. Okay, good. All right, let's hang out at gyms. Start doing fucking hot yoga, my friend. Hot yoga is gonna. If there's one thing that's gonna fucking teach you about delayed gratification, it is hot yoga. It'll fuck you up.
I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be like trying not to look at any of the girls. She'd be like, all right, just work on this. Stretch, do all that.
Yeah. It's a meditative thing. It's very meditative, very good for your body, very good for your focus, very good for like getting yourself out of your head. And it sounds like you probably have to get it out of your head. And again, this is also why I recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because fighting is another way to get the fuck out of your head. Okay, as men, we need to do that. That's why we need to do physical things, because otherwise we sit there and we just think, and we strategize, and you've said it yourself. You're a very what's the word I used? Self-reflective, self-aware,
very analytical.
Yeah, very analytical. But you're also very self-aware, right? So instead of living your life, you're analyzing your life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the problem. You need to start living a bit more, Timothy. Okay.
I mean, all I do is work, and Look at things on the internet, basically. Read.
All right. Well, now we know that for the next week you're going to be doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I told you to. So you're going to go
have
do
some research to do.
You're going to go do that. The only research I want you to do is where are the nearest gyms. That is all I want you to do. And then you're going to fucking look at their class times and you're going to sign up for one. And you're going to keep going. Okay? That's what I want you to do. And then after this, you're going to go write down 6 goals for me. 2 to do with fitness, 2 to do with relationships, 2 to do with finances. And you're going to email them back to me, okay? That's what's going to happen.
I will. Because
you're not jumping yourself off the edge like you said you were. All right? You're going to have, there is, like I said, it's the light at the end of the tunnel, man, is just realizing that you create the fucking tunnel. You know, you really are. Like, don't expect the world to fucking, you know, magically save you, because the world ain't gonna save you. Only you can save yourself, man. So you have to be. You're the engineer. Right. You're the architect of that. You know, and it's about that little boy inside you who used to get excited about things, tapping into that and being like, you know what, the fuck do I want to do? If I could do fucking anything, what would I want to do? You know, if I could be anything, if I could do anything physically that what would I want to do? Would I want to climb a fucking mountain? Would I want to run a marathon? Would I want to, I don't know, like do a triathlon? I don't care what it is, but whatever your goals are. But finding them, tapping into them, because that is what's going to make life fucking exciting.
The one thing that I really still enjoy that actually makes me feel positive emotions, it's music. I've always loved music.
All right. Do you play any music?
I used to play the saxophone. I haven't played that in so long. No.
I wonder why.
I never strive for more. After I graduated from high school, never went to college, just started playing video games and stuff through my 20s. Never really did too much. Isolated, stayed away from people. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I think it's because I didn't think that doing that would be like that beneficial. Like I wouldn't feel too good when I got there, because I'd be like, okay, well, I got there. I've always expected to win. Like, what's next?
Yeah. I think that Miles is saying like this. The sax is the number 2 sexiest instrument. He's not wrong, by the way.
What's number 1?
He's number 1 sexiest instrument. So, again, it's jazz bands are an incredibly good way for learning to, like, for socializing with people. I don't know if you are a fan of jazz or if you hate jazz. I don't know, but the saxophone is
I'm cool with anything unless as long as it makes sense.
I don't know if jazz,
real world.
I don't know if jazz makes any sense, but it's again, that's something that might be something you might want to rekindle into. Is like you can use like your saxophone as a means to like creating a new social network. Maybe go to jazz bars. I'm spitballing here, but maybe
I'm messed up in the head. So like I'm thinking like, why would anybody want to listen to me play the saxophone? You know, I'm just like, you know,
because people are looking for saxophonists in the band because they can't play the saxophone. That's why.
But I underestimate how weak people are. Like the negative qualities of people. Like I see it in me, but I often don't think about how other people are.
Yeah, people are fucked up.
I can do pretty much anything, and I could benefit from it.
Yeah,
as long as I try hard and I provide a service or something, people appreciate it.
Everyone else is walking through life just as insecure as you are. It's important to understand that. You know, they just don't carry it on their. They don't carry their heart on their sleeve like you do. Timothy. You got some more of a dude. Pick up the sax. You would drown in poon. Everyone here in the chat's encouraging you to pick up the goddamn saxophone. So I'm going to say the same thing. Pick the fucking.
Not just the sax. There's a couple instruments that I'd love to get.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I'd like to do.
Now we're tapping into this. Okay. So we're gonna finish. We're gonna wrap this up. I want you to now that you're now I see your imagination's going. Okay, so start writing shit down. Start making notes. Start getting. I don't know how, like, get a fucking mood board. I don't care. Get a big fucking piece of paper and just start writing ideas down. Cool. Because that's gonna start tapping into you engineering this really exciting life for yourself. Okay.
Will do.
I really appreciate you taking the time for this, Timothy, because I hope that this will be like not only you can really benefit from this. I really hope you do benefit from this. And I hope, and I'm going to be expecting that email in a day or two. But I hope other people watching this who might be in a similar situation to you can take this advice and can actually start to fucking make improvements.
You know what I'm going to do today? You get a shower, get ready, get dressed, and you get a haircut. My hair's getting a little.
Copy me, mate.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I've been getting it, just like yours.
There you go. Close it down.
You don't have to deal with it, you know.
No, it's easy.
So much easier.
That's the whole point. You just fucking don't need to worry about it. I thought there was a super chat back here really quickly. Oh, Oscar dropped in this $5 super. Thank you very much, Oscar. I missed it. Hey, I bought your course about the PP and put in the wrong email. Oh yeah, Oscar, drop me a DM on Instagram. Actually, no, the better way is to email me, sterlingcooperentertainment@gmail.com, and I will fix that out on my end. Thank you for that, my friend. I think that was everything we had in the chat there. Yeah, that was all the super chats. Yeah, man. Thank you very much for this, Timothy. And look, go fucking get that goddamn saxophone out of the garage. Find
I get that one off Craigslist.
All right, fine. Find your nearest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym and fucking sign up for it and write down these fucking goals for me. All right, I'm expecting an email from you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend. I'm gonna see you striving in the next few months. I know I will. It's gonna work. It's gonna help you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Hope you got something out of this, and you have a good day. All right, I'll click the end broadcast here button.